Do I have your attention?
So, be it known that you have
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Hey! Let's hear it for Captain America!
Captain Price,
Sergeant Carrick.
you with me?
Nice shot. The name's Rex. She'll call me Captain or Sir.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am finally back home, and just like I said, I am busting through customs. This is the first one that I'm going to show, and this one I'm probably the most proud of. I just think this really looks good. I mean, this is probably one of the best customs I made, and it's pretty simple to do if you guys want to make this too. It does require you to have some pieces already, including this head. But I guess you could get a casting of this head, and it'd be cheaper, and you could paint it yourself. Personally, I just used one of mine. I did have one that I was using for a custom already. I just swapped the heads on them, and it was fine. But yeah, let's get a closer look at the armor details. Now, I completely made this Obi Wan Kenobi out of a Return of the Jedi Boba Fett that I got on sale from Target. As you can see, these holsters and guns are 3D printed, and the guns do come out just like that. You know, they're a little bigger than the normal Black Series Mandalorian blasters, but I mean, he's never going to be holding one. He's going to be holding his lightsaber. And if you already don't know where this is from the Clone Wars arc where, well, let's just say Satine gets a bit of a low haircut. This jetpack is from the model kit Mandalorian, but any jetpack that looks like this will do. You just can't use Boba Fett's because it is different than the one that the rest of the Mandalorians wear. His has like the boosters come out the side and a big spear rocket. So you will have to change that out just to be a little more accurate. Even this isn't completely accurate right here. I didn't actually think of this till afterwards, but I used the hands from a Mandalorian. I swapped out the hands, besides the normal Boba Fett ones, for the Mandalorian ones to get the armored look on the hands. Didn't think about it that I could have swapped out the arms too to give them the more accurate gauntlets to the arc. Didn't think of that till afterwards, and really wouldn't need to paint much because they're already silver. They would have just popped right on there. So if you want to, I would personally recommend doing that. It would be more accurate that way. So you would have just the standard gauntlets for them right there. And to do this anyway, you already need the hands. So just, if you decide to make this, just remember that, a little detail. Instead, the Mandalorians do have a metal belt of pouches right here. Instead, I did use Boba Fett's normal leather one, and I just painted it silver, and I think that actually looks pretty good. You almost can't tell. On the back, I did cut it off so I could paint under it. So there is a split right there. That is one thing to watch out for. The pouches on the side, just they aren't accurate to the costume, but they do help to hide kind of the because these were a little big, but it just fits a lot better with the pouches on. So I was thinking of drumming this off, but when I test fitted these, they just fit better like that. And the last thing is the shins. In the episode, he does have shin armor, but obviously on the Boba Fett, he does not have that. You could 3D print it, you could sculpt it. There are options out there. I didn't do any of that, obviously, but I'm just letting you know if you want to be more accurate to the episode, you can do that. This lightsaber is actually from the Obi Wan Kenobi show. I just took it from that Blue Target exclusive one since he didn't really use his lightsaber in that costume. So didn't feel too bad for taking it, and the blade looks awesome. Now let's get our light on here so you can see a little bit more of the details. Standard look without the light hitting him. This all just kind of looks red, but there is silver dry brushed on top of it. I did use just a dark gray for these armor bits, and then I dry brushed silver on top of that as well. So it kind of shines in some places, like right there, you can see that. On the shoulder pad, so you just can't really see it under normal lighting, but when you, when the light catches the specific silver spots, it does shine, which I do like a lot. I think that looks really good, especially on the chest plates right here. And that's pretty much all the intricacy. I mean, his jetpack is just silver. I did paint the bottoms of it with a little black, but that doesn't look great. It's on his back, you won't ever see it anyway. You know, I did paint his back too. And the head sculpt obviously is from the Clone Wars Obi-Wan. This one specifically from the Walgreens one. But you can use either if you want to, or you could buy a custom head sculpt and paint that up yourself. I also, before I thought of using this one, was going to use an Obi Wan Kenobi head, because I had a spare one of those. I also have a spare 3D printed one I never finished, which, I mean, this one doesn't look great either. Which is why I never finished it. I just bought a different one. So, yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, this is probably one of the best customs I've made. I just think it turned out really cool and really clean, and it's a really good representation of the episode. I like that angry look that he has on his face. I like the articulation of the Black Series Boba Fett. So this is all pretty nice, pretty cool. He's just gonna be kind of standing on my shelf like this, though, you know, because that's like the scene where he's like looking out, you know. Yeah, I think this is really cool. Let's get into comparisons real quick, though. All right, first things first, we have Darth Maul and Bo-Katan. Wait a minute. No. Something's wrong with this picture. Hold on. There we go. That's better. The rightful King of Mandalore now has his darksaber, and he's standing next to Obi-Wan from the episode as well. Let's get a Mandalorian in here. Now, this is the one people are using a lot of the time for customs. Personally, I think he's a little too wide, and I don't know. I just feel like Obi-Wan's a little more skinnier and lanky, and yeah, you could just kind of see how wide he is compared to Obi-Wan. So, yeah, I didn't want to use it. Also, I think it's really cool, and they didn't need to do this, that they made Darth Maul's handle or other blade removable. I think that was directly either because they wanted, you know, this season 5 look where he had the darksaber in that one half, or because, I mean, I guess he always had a removable side in the Phantom Menace, but I mean, he didn't really do that to this specific lightsaber in the Clone Wars, so I don't know. I think it's really cool that you can have that look where he has the darksaber in that side. I don't know, maybe I'm just rambling. Let's get into the next comparison. Now, no Obi-Wan comparison can be done without, well, 2 more Obi-Wans. This is the head sculpt where I took it. I didn't take it from this figure specifically, obviously, but I took it from the Walgreens Clone Wars one, but you can see that they're the same head sculpt. And this one, the head sculpt does work on this body. It's a little small. It's a little small for this one anyway. But you can see he is just standing just slightly taller. In person, he's actually the same height as them. So I wonder, it's just because he's a little farther back. Let's see. No, he's still taller. All right. Well, I guess that's just an optical illusion on my part. I thought they were the same height, but I guess you could dremel down the torso and make him a little bit shorter so he can be the same size as this Obi-Wan. Me personally, I'm done with it. I'm not gonna do that. I think he looks great. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you don't want to stick through my rambling, go ahead and go down to the bottom and subscribe, like, and comment if you have any tips or tricks on how to make this better, or how to make other customs that you might want to see from this channel. Alright, let's get into the rambling. Star Wars Celebration just happened, right? I just want to talk about this for a second, because I don't really have a lot of people to talk to about this that know a lot about Star Wars. Season 5 of the Bad Batch, or not Season 5, Season 3 of the Bad Batch is going to be the final season. And that makes me sad. That makes me think that a lot of them are going to die, honestly. I think all the members of the Bad Batch will die except for Hunter and Omega. And yeah, that's including Crosshair. I think they're all going to plan 99 themselves. And before, I would have gave credence to the theory that Tech was still alive. Now that I know there's only one season left, I think that's pretty unlikely. Especially considering we've never seen Tech past the Bad Batch point. So, yeah, I think his death's pretty much confirmed true. It was really sad. I teared up a little bit watching it. My boy Tech died. But, you know, I think a lot of us saw it coming. Yeah, it was a little obvious with how much time we were spending with him. But also, it was one of the reasons why I really didn't want him to die, was because we spent so much time with him. You know, Wrecker. I want Wrecker to die. I'll be the first to say it. I don't like Wrecker. I think he's dragging the show down. But my boy Tech, you can't do that to me. Also, Acolyte show. I want to talk about this for a second. And I know there's been a little bit of discussion about this online. I just want to put my opinion on it real quick right here. This is a bit of a controversial topic, so if you disagree with me, that is completely fine. And I do not blame you. Before I talk about this, let me take all the Obi-Wans off the screen, because that'll be counterintuitive. And let me just put Bo-Katan on the screen with the Darksaber. And let me talk about how one of the Acolyte actresses said that there is a patriarchy in Star Wars that this show is going to break, of just male protagonists, which is completely bullshit. Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan, you could even include Rey. She got 3 fucking movies. There is no patriarchy in Star Wars, not even since the beginning. In the first movie, Princess Leia, they went to go rescue her, but she ended up rescuing herself. There's no patriarchy in Star Wars. I personally, I don't feel like there's ever been a gender disparity between the two. I don't feel like one, a lot of the time in movies you can kind of tell that the male protagonists are either more powerful or more well regarded in terms of story potential in movies, and that's done a lot of the time in that kind of way, where that would, need to change nowadays. But Star Wars has never been like that. I feel like it's been the front runner for this kind of thing, they've always had strong female protagonists as main characters before. And now there's all of a sudden a patriarchy that the Acolyte show is gonna, see, I feel like a lot of the time people look at Star Wars as the Luke Skywalker movies, right? And I guess that's a fair point to a certain extent, because he was the main character of 3 movies. But that was just 3 movies out of 12? 13? How many movies are there now? And even in those movies, Princess Leia was a strong female protagonist that could very much hold her own, or do better sometimes than the boys she was with. I just feel like it's people who's never seen Star Wars and think that there's this patriarchy or Star Wars is for boys kind of thing. That's just not true. I don't know. It really pissed me off, because it's almost kind of disrespectful to these kind of characters like Ahsoka, Princess Leia, Bo-Katan, who've been here for years, 10 plus years at this point, and there's still this stigma that Star Wars is just for men, which is just not true. And yeah, I really didn't like that at all about Star Wars Celebration. I really do hope the Acolyte show is good. I'm sure she's a great actress in it, and I really do have hope for the show. But I don't like comments like that, because it just doesn't make any sense if you know Star Wars at all, or if you're a fan at all. Like, no fan of Star Wars would ever say something like that, you know? And I don't like it when people say stuff like that. I have seen the trailers for Acolyte, and what was it? What was the other show? I know Ahsoka was the one that was released. Acolyte wasn't released yet, and I saw the leak of it. It was at Star Wars Celebration. It honestly does look like a really good show, but it's kind of hard to tell on the 520p format video that you're watching on Star Wars Leaks on Reddit. There was another one I can't... Oh, Andor Season 2. Andor Season 2 looks awesome, by the way. That one looks amazing. It looks... If you like the first season, you'll like the second season. It looks exactly the same as the first one in terms of tone, which is a good thing in my opinion. But the Ahsoka show... Holy crap, is that a good-looking show. I am going to love that. Alright, theory time. The World Between Worlds. You can see her in the World Between Worlds. I think there was a leak that the entire show was going to take place in it, and Ahsoka trying to save Anakin. I think that leak was right to some extent. I think it's only going to be one episode that Ahsoka is trying to save Anakin from turning to the dark side. Right? Alright, hear me out. One episode. The first episode. And then she accidentally brings in 2 Jedi from the Old Republic, from the World Between Worlds. That's not only it. I think this is where we're going to get a Darth Revan cameo. Because if you don't know, the World Between Worlds are Jedi who have died. And these 2, they have orange lightsabers. Dave Filoni was very specific. In an interview, he called out that they might not be as they seem, and that their lightsabers were noticeably orange, which is not a Sith characteristic. It's more of a Jedi characteristic to have an orange lightsaber. I think it's more of a kind of a darker Jedi, kind of like Mace Windu, but not. Mace Windu was closer to blue, and these guys are closer to red, but they're still Jedi, and I think that they're going to be from the Old Republic. They were killed by Darth Revan, because the World Between Worlds is Jedi who have died, or their deaths. Going to be killed by Darth Revan. We're going to see him as a cameo, and then Ahsoka's going to accidentally pull them out of it, and they're going to be running loose, running amok in nowadays. Because it was very specific that they added the Old Republic onto the Star Wars timeline all of a sudden, right before Ahsoka comes in. Kind of weird. That's my theory of Ahsoka. It's just going to be epic. Also, Sabine Wren, perfect casting. She looks so good in the armor. If you haven't seen the leak, or I don't think it's a leak, I think it's just an official picture of her in her armor. It's literally, like, all the characters are 1-to-1 to their Rebels counterpart, or animated counterpart. Except for Ezra, who I haven't seen a lot of besides the hologram, but I don't know. I haven't seen the actor. I don't know who's playing as him, but from the hologram, I didn't think it looked a lot like Ezra, at least in my head. I guess the only live-action Ezra I'm going based off of is the Black series, which is never a good take. But but you know how it is. You know how it is. I've been rambling for a little too long now, so I'm gonna cut it off here. Again, if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you have any comments about Star Wars Celebration or anything I talked about, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below, because I'd really love to hear your opinions. and start a discussion. If you made it this far, a lot of people don't. And if you did make it this far, good on you. All right, goodbye.